Hey everybody, Chris here. In this video, we're going to be looking at stacking Dogecoin as well as the latest news with Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when the videos come out as well as when I do live streams. We did have an emergency live stream on Thursday while prices were dumping. But we had Dogecoin hitting 8 cents. Now 8 cents, that's a pretty good price for Doge. Are we going to see 8 cents again? Let's take a look. Let me show you the charts in the news. I'll show you what I'm looking at. And we start here with the current Dogecoin price at 9.67. That's right, 9.67 cents for Dogecoin. This was the big drop that we had here that came on Thursday. We were watching this pattern play out, whether we were going to have a full V-shaped recovery with the handle. And if you just wanted to look at it from here, that would be a full cup and handle. But Dogecoin decided to just bleed out sideways, as I had predicted in the Friday live stream. We would bleed out sideways. Had a little dip just around down to 9.5 cents, which was the long-standing support that we had from back on October 10th. Although we did break below it here on Thursday, came back and recovered. So we're going to see in this range here from 9.5 cents to 10.25, whether this becomes the sideways trading for Dogecoin throughout the weekend. Bitcoin is just above 69K. Bitcoin actually did complete the handle, same pattern, all the way down to 59,850 on the dip, just below 60K, which I believe was a target by the market makers to take out those $60,000 leverage liquidation positions, $1 billion, right, of leverage taken out by the market makers and the exchanges. That's what they wanted. That's what they got. So now in 69K, where Bitcoin is now. So where is all this going to go from here? Well, we will check in on ETH. ETH is right above $2,000. That becomes the new support line for ETH. Whether 2,000 breaks below again or not, we shall see. We start here with Lark Davis, and Lark is saying, look, silver, right, back over on the precious metals, it all ties together. Silver dumped 47% in the week. Bitcoin crashed. It was on the same day. They were both going down. Speculation, and this is what we were looking at yesterday. Hong Kong hedge funds running levered IBIT options with borrowed Japanese yen also went mega long on silver. The yen carry trade unwound, forced liquidations across both, explains the orderly selling and why IBIT had its biggest volume day ever. Some funds just got absolutely wrecked. So this was IBIT. This was the Bitcoin ETF, and this is what is happening now. It's not the buying and selling of Bitcoin coins anymore. Now it's all this second level stuff of all this perp trading and options and all of this crap that now is dominating crypto trading, particularly Bitcoin. It's not just selling coins and buying coins anymore. Unfortunately, that's what we have now. That's what Bitcoin has become. Crypto Rover says, look, we look at the 4-year cycles, and despite different news and different events and things like that, the rhyming does seem to happen. This is 2021 into 2022 right here. We had the initial high, we had the dip, and that dip was China, right? It was Tesla, Elon. It was the short selling of Doge that played into that, brought the whole market down in middle to late May into June of 2021. But Bitcoin came back, hit an new all-time high of 69K, and then had the initial pullback, and then the deeper pullback happened into the bear market of 2022. We repeated that. 2020, the end of 2024, we had a big run up for Bitcoin. It went over 100K. Everybody celebrated. We had the pullback, a lot of that profit taking, but then we also had, since the Bitcoin ETFs were now trading, we had some of that selling of the paper hand holders of Bitcoin, or investors or traders or whatever you want to call them, on those ETFs which caused negative the selling pressure, because BlackRock has to sell their Bitcoin when the holders of the IBIT ETFs sell. Then BlackRock sells. BlackRock isn't selling indiscriminate Bitcoin just on their own. No, it's all based on what that ETF trading does. That's what we have now. But Bitcoin turned it around, came up in 2025 and hit an all-time new high of 126,200 before October 10th, which we had the initial down, a little relief rally, and then further down. So here we are back to 69K. That was the high back here in 2021, 69K. History does rhyme. We've got Russia's gold reserve surpassing $400 billion. So this is like gold, $5,000 gold. Other countries are buying gold. And not only Russia, but we have China as well. The China Central Bank is selling billions of U.S. treasuries to buy gold and silver. So that's what's happening, is this whole economic war that's going on now between the United States and China, Russia, is, especially China, they're not waging a war. They are doing a battle on the economic front of dumping U.S. treasuries and buying gold and silver. But not only that, they are also, yes, they're also cracking down on cryptocurrencies yet again for like the 100th time. No legal recognition of crypto as money. Any crypto-related business is financial crime. Complete ban on foreign crypto services operating inside China. So it continues with China yet again, just like we had back in May 2021. We now have it again in February 2026 of China cracking down on crypto yet again. U.S. inflation is under control. Trueflation says it's under 1%. Unfortunately, the U.S. government uses their own numbers, and it's still 2.5% or somewhere there. It is below 3%, but it hasn't hit the 2% target yet. The market is scared of a recession. This week's unemployment data was weak, and we're probably going to see in following months data for jobs is going to continue to slide. Bad, consistent employment data is the number one sign we're heading into a recession. Pay extra attention to employment data moving forward. Of course, Trump is going to try and keep the GDP up, going to continue to drill, baby, drill, try and keep the oil and gas prices down. And by doing all the tariff fear for these other countries, to have those countries invest in the United States, is going to keep the GDP going. So I don't think we're really going to be in an official recession, but we all feel it. We all feel it. We know what's going on. Our wages aren't keeping up with the increasing price of goods and services. Here we have Michael Saylor. Now this was last November. This is what Michael Saylor said.
You know, over the last 2 weeks, Andrew, we've generated $5.4 billion in BTC gains. We're making $500 million a day. I'm staring at my screen, and we're selling dollar bills for $3, sometimes a million times a minute. And so it's not impossible. I mean, we may very well be the most profitable company in the United States, growing the fastest right now, because there's not many companies that are making $500 million a day doing what they're doing. If you don't like Bitcoin, you don't want any piece of it. But if you like Bitcoin, then this is a monster for you. You know, over the last 2 weeks.
So again, we're watching the prices, right? MicroStrategy was over $400 a share at the time. We had Bitcoin had just had a pullback from a high, but it was coming back and was retesting $100,000. So it was all in, right? All in on MicroStrategy stock, all in on Bitcoin. Well, what happened? We can look at the MicroStrategy stock price, MSTR, and where is the MicroStrategy stock now? It's $134. That is not $400. MicroStrategy stock plummeted, came all the way down to 104, almost broke below 100 from 400. That's how volatile the MicroStrategy selling has been, because nobody trusts Nobody trusts what is coming for MicroStrategy. As Ryder89 says, Ponzi scheme. And that's how Michael Saylor has been treating the MicroStrategy stock. And yet, just a few months ago, he's pleading for everybody to invest in MicroStrategy. And I was like, nope, that doesn't look good. Meanwhile, MicroStrategy is going to start trading on Binance in 2 days. And Binance. So, the post highlights Binance Futures upcoming launch of MicroStrategy versus USDT perpetual contracts on February 9th, providing global retail traders leveraged access to MicroStrategy stock. That's trouble. That is trouble. And this is the way these crypto exchanges are now going to broaden their portfolio, is to be able to do these stock versus tether leverage trading. Binance is going to continue to really manipulate the market, but not only crypto, but now they're going in on stocks. This is trouble, my friends. This is trouble. Bitcoin fire sale. That's what Crypto Rover says on this. Look at these rainbow charts. These rainbow charts are history. And I talked about this last year, that we were never going to get up in the yellow, the orange, the red again on Bitcoin on these rainbow charts, because Bitcoin has such a big market cap now. We're not going to see that. And it's going to bleed out sideways. We're going to be stuck in the purples, blues, maybe touch green again, and that's about it, in my opinion. Bitcoin dominance forming a macro consolidating wedge. However, I don't think we're going back down here in the 40s on Bitcoin dominance either. There's nothing that says we're going to have that alt season big pullback right now. There's nothing going on that says that to me. As Ted Pillow says, this is the chart that is total 2, which is the crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and ETH, and it has broken down. The chart is screaming anything but alt season. Moot those moon boys who sold you alt season this year. True. Trader Tardigrade is like, we got an ETH head and shoulders, and price has broken down. On his chart, the target is $14.90. We're hugging on the rebound here, about $2,000 now, and that just screams even ETH is going to go lower. Back to Ted Pillows, and he says the ETH treasury companies have erased all their gains since they started buying ETH. So not only has Tom Lee and Bitmine failed on all of the ETH that they've bought, their stock, which initially came up to $150, is now down at 20. 150 to 20. That is amazing. But we have SharpLink, we have Dynamics, we have Bit Digital, and they are all failing. Now, if you believe in ETH, maybe the trade is going to be to buy into a couple of these Ethereum treasury companies, and maybe it goes on a big run again, or maybe these big runs were all just the hype, the initial hype, and that stock will never see those prices again. And we think the same with the Dogecoin treasury companies as well. I just don't see like Zone and Bragg House and all those stocks going way up again. Now, Doge has the possibility of going on big runs, FOMO based on catalysts specifically. We'll talk about those in a minute. Also, just a reminder, before I get to the Bitcoin white paper here, we are going to have a special Super Bowl halftime live stream for Dogecoin. That's right, because I'm not watching that Bad Bunny crap. I'm going to be here with you guys, so join in. Make sure you're subscribed. You got your notifications on. Especially for Sunday at halftime, we're going to have about a 25-minute live stream while that so-called performance is going on over there. We're going to be here giving an update on the weekend trading of Doge and crypto going into next week. So come have the fun for the Dogecoin halftime spectacular. Oh yeah, Bitcoin white paper. So, and you know, I've done this before. Years ago, I put together the so-called Dogecoin white paper where I just crossed out the word Bitcoin and I put the word Dogecoin on there, and I put a Doge image. And I said, yeah, that's the Dogecoin white paper. So if you replace the word Bitcoin with Dogecoin in the Bitcoin white paper, you adjust the 21 million coin cap and the 210,000 blocks between halvings, which is like every 3 years, 11 months or so on average, and you change that to a consistent 10,000 coins per block with no halvings, you have what Satoshi actually wanted, a true peer-to-peer electronic cash system. That, my friends, is the Dogecoin white paper. I will continue to say this, and I'm the only one saying that out there, right? This is Chris Pax's thing on what the Dogecoin white paper actually is. And you'll see me continue to post that as well over on X. We do have a couple things going on with Trader Allen and his latest Doge RSI. We have a bullish divergence on the price versus the RSI. It doesn't look like a bullish divergence to me. However, we do have a bit of an RSI breakout, but we also had that again a couple times. And Dogecoin's price continued to go down because Dogecoin has no big catalysts going on at the moment. Again, here's another view zoomed in on the MACD crossover and a breakout, but we had that before here. He clipped that off on the left where we had the last MACD crossover. And what happened to Doge? Doge then turned back into another descending broadening wedge. That is what a bear market looks like. However, we do have rebound catalysts. We want to reclaim the resistance at 10 cents first. That's crucial to maintaining any short-term momentum, but right now we're bleeding out at like 969, 967, right? That's what's happening right now. As with many assets in the financial world, the Dogecoin price is unlikely to sustain the sharp sell-off it just recorded. Owing to its status as the biggest meme coin, investors are now more focused on key catalysts that can help fuel its rebound. Of course, it's all wrapped up in what's happening with Bitcoin and all of these perp trading and all of this stuff, the leverage liquidations, just continuing to pull the Bitcoin price down, which does take Doge down with it. Earlier this week, Tesla CEO Elon Musk confirmed plans that Dogecoin might actually be taken to the moon by next year. I've got this ongoing thing going on over on X with the head of Geometric Energy, Sam Reed, and with Samuel there. I'm like, why are you creating all these other stupid tokens? It should all be about Doge. If you're going to call something the Doge One mission, just make it all about Doge. But nope, he's creating these other tokens on this other thing, and it's just like, but he's trying to make money. I get it. He's trying to make money, but he would make a lot of money just by doing this all with Doge. However, the plans remain vague. The announcement has reshaped confidence in the promotional role of Musk. But this isn't about his companies. SpaceX is just the Vulcan rocket that's going to take the Doge One, the CubeSat thing up into space. And then from there on, Elon and SpaceX are out of it. They have nothing to do with it from there. They're just the ones that initially took in the Dogecoin from Geometric to pay for the ride. And that was really all it was. Historically, Dogecoin is known to experience a sell-off in February, with the current 5% crash attesting to that. It was more than 5%. Everything was down on Thursday, like 10 to 12, 14%. However, subsequent months are known to come with mild but progressive gains. If history aligns, this may be the worst month for Doge for the foreseeable future. That would be great if that was behind us. I think we're going to bleed out sideways and we're going to have more dips. But that's just my view and what I'm looking at. Right now, Doge, 967, yes, 9.67 as we look at the current Dogecoin price. Let me know in the comments what you think about stacking Dogecoin. Certainly 8 cents was a great stacking price, but anything below 10 is probably good as well. Now, I've told you what my thesis is. I've got a longer view through the summer where my fractal shows Dogecoin at lower prices again. Will it go lower than 8 cents? We'll see if there's constant pressure down and negativity of crypto and whether that comes back, because I am going to be stacking my coins over the summer. That's what I'm doing. You don't have to follow me on that. And you can disagree. You can say so in the chat as well. Give the video a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.